regulations, and also stakeholders' input that has not really yielded what Nigerians wanted to yield. And on the program today, we'll be having guests who will be providing solutions again to the issue of energy crisis that we have in Nigeria. Recently, we hear of a national grid collapse, and this collapse comes regularly these days that you don't even know the number of times that these collapses are happening within a year or within months. We want to discuss this with some analysts and some public figures in the society who will be looking at these together with my colleague Dominic Agbea. Our first guest who is in the studio with us is Sir Jare Oyeshola. He is an entrepreneur and one of those stakeholders who really need this energy to power his business. Now, Sir Oyeshola, you're welcome to the program.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. You're welcome, sir. And Dominic here will be having his own questions to throw to our guests too.
Yes, it feels so good to have you join us on the program this morning. First and foremost, probably we should begin by taking your perception, really, on the incessant collapse. I mean, we are still in January 2026, and we've experienced two different grid collapses already. What do you make of this?
It is a fact that we are having a national grid, but the truth, which is known and which I know government is working towards, is for us to be a multi-grid system. Having one single national grid is definitely going to give us grid collapse regularly. We can imagine if we're having one water corporation serving the whole of Nigeria. And if that water corporation has one pipeline and from which others draw, definitely, depending on need, the different segments will be requiring much water, and it can lead to grid collapse from time to time. Even in Ogun State, we used to have Ogun State Water Corporation, where every house was having water. Later, we graduated to a stage where every house is having a well or a borehole. But if you look at it now, at least in the Diaba area, Water Corporation is now writing to communities, asking if they want water and telling us the price of water meters, and that once they have a group of 50, they are going to give us water. At least in my community in Idiaba, they are written to us and we are gathering ourselves that despite the fact that we have boreholes, we might be requesting them to give us water meters and we'll be buying water from them. That's what a multi-grid system, will get for us, even in electricity. And we are underplaying electricity. Electricity is the source of our being what you call the largest economy. If we are not producing enough electricity, we cannot be the largest economy. Definitely, we are not manufacturing much. So,
what do you make of the usual? I mean, whenever there is a collapse, we already know what the statements will be like. Oh, technical each here, technical each there, and the rest of them. Do you think in 2026 such an excuse or explanation is tenable?
It's not tenable if we are to look at the promises of our politicians. We will think it's not tenable. But those of us who know about it know that, yes, it's not rocket science, but it's not a day's job. It's not something that can happen without proper planning. When you want to have a multi-grid system, I think we can say they have moved some steps forward from saying that we can only have one person generating power. The law now permits for every state, in fact every local government, to generate power.
As long as they have the capacity.
As long as they have the capacity. And like the person that did power for a state in the east said, if it's for economic reason, he would have located his power station in Lagos because it's sure of customers. Apart from Lagos, Ogun State is the industrial capital of Nigeria. We have most of the industries. From whatever axis you are looking at it, even now from the Abeokuta to Lagos expressway grid, array of industries. Ogun State is such that can have its own power grid and can buy it. We have industries that can buy it, meaning that it makes economical sense, either by private sector or for government. But I think if government is interested in producing power which will generate micro, medium and small scale industries apart from the large scale industrial employers of labor, and will give us a situation in which we have our youths employed. I think most of our youths, even if they want to open barbing salon or hairdressing salon, they need electricity. We are saying unemployment. We are saying youth should go for self-employment. But this grid situation is something that must be addressed. And I think if local governments are now getting their direct allocation, we have places in Ogun State where we have gas pipelines. Even local governments should be able to address it, apart from the state. But I know there was once a situation where we have a governorship candidate promising us power during the second term. We hope it will happen.
All right, thank you, Sir Oyishola. We want to have this quick break, and this break we'll have another guest join us on the set, and we'll discuss this topic together. So stay with us. Now by Engineer Abdulrazak Jimoh, who is the regional head of IBDEDC. He'll be talking about a lot of energy management in Nigeria, and he's one of the critical stakeholders when it comes to electricity and how we manage it in Nigeria. You're welcome, Engineer Abdulrazak Jimoh.
Good morning.
I'm glad to have you join us.
Good morning, viewers at home. Thank you for having me.
Okay. Now we've been talking about energy crisis and why Nigerians are saying the national grid collapse is becoming a normal thing in Nigeria. And when you see statements from your headquarters or from your region, we know that something critical has happened to the energy of Nigeria. So when you bring out this statement, what really happened? What has been happening? Should we be expecting this regularly? For January alone, according to my colleague, we've had it like 2 times, the grid collapse. How should we be expecting grid collapse twice every month now, thrice every month, or we should see it as a normal systemic failure when it comes to from your own end?
Yeah, thank you. Power supply situation throughout the world is the key to economic development of the nation. Also reduce rural and urban drift when rural communities are having power supply. In Nigeria, the rate at which demand for power supply is increasing in this month, and the rate at which investment is being done is not being fast. It's not running at the same speed at which the demand of power supply is growing. What normally causes system collapse is when demand is even more than the supply. There is always imbalances in the system. So what we are taking is more than what is being generated the system will not be balanced. Just like when you have more children and your salary is not, you cannot take you home. You see that family will definitely collapse when children are taking, or dependents are taking much from the pocket. Another thing that causes a system collapse is when there is coordinations between the stakeholders, lack of coordination between the stakeholders like GEMCO, transmissions, and discos. Also, vandalism also constitutes what is always causing system collapse. Of recent, the one that happened of recent, there was a grid trippings, 330 kV trippings. This gigantic network we are seeing along Gombe transmission lines. You know, our network is tied to each other. We call it grid network. And when one is affected, others also will be affected. In Gombe side of Nigeria, I think there was a tripping vandalism there, and the system, that 330 collapse, and it affected, is a resultant effect to this system collapse. And another thing that also caused the second one, I think, is one of the generating stations shut down unexpectedly. And you know, when you are generating, and they are generating to the grid, and you just shut down unexpectedly, and others are not well informed that you are coming to shut down. There were lack of coordination, and the system will definitely collapse. That is what happens of recent, to which the government are taking it serious and also providing alternative solutions. Before, in those days when we were growing up, we used to have what they call spinning reserve. A generator will be running, and when another one shut down, that one will just come in quickly, immediately. But now, you know, privatization has been coming. IPP, independent power producers are coming. Who is now going to be paying for a generator that will be running without even supplying?
So privatization is one of the challenges.
No, it has not. Privatization has not been well articulated.
Okay.
And when they were conceptualizing it, they didn't take so many things to factors. So all those things are now revealing itself and taking the lead, and is now exposing what government should do to address the power challenges. You know, there's not anything that comes that will not come with its challenges, and we'll learn from it. And very soon, what government is trying to do now is to learn from what has happened, and also to try to block it and improve upon it. I also listened to that when I was coming on, talking about the state government, local government investment. The state government is trying to also establish generating stations and also construct a special grid, a ring grid across Ogun State. Either they will complete it before the government say no or whatever, but there's a blueprint that the present government has established that they want to serve the whole of Ogun State with a special grid that will serve the whole of citizens of Ogun State very well. I'm aware of that. They are also generating independently to even reduce the one that are getting from national grid to serve some some certain area of Ogun State. Agbara, they are trying to establish there. There's Ijebu side, they are trying to establish even there is a place, Wikoro, that's we call it Onijagajaga. They've constructed the feeders about 30 megawatts. What they are trying to do is they want to close the gap that is coming from the grid, that the grid cannot cope with. I think the government is also looking for rural area too, where they want to install renewable energy. They've started, you know, for them to complete it takes a lot of time and a lot of investment, and I believe the gap will be will be close.
Okay, you want to add?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, before I come to Sir Oyeshola, now with this initiative of the state government, do you think it will go a long way, really, particularly if other states too, also through that line? Do you think it will go a long way to really address the incessant grid collapses we've witnessed?
Definitely it will. Definitely it will. You know, the state government is also coming with its own regulations. they've established Ogun State Electricity Regulation Law that will also be monitoring all the generation, distributions, and transmissions. And when it is well supervised and monitored, and also bring in more investment, I think the government is trying to attract more investors to the Ogun State for establishing all these independent power producers across the industrial hub of Ogun State. It will definitely reduce the pressure from the grid and reduce system collapse.
Okay, let's talk about how it affects Nigerians really, and you are one of those Nigerians that uses electricity constantly. You can say 24/7 because you run a business and you want your business to shut down because there's no power to do a lot of work. Now, let's profile some solutions. The regional head has said there are things that affect, and one of those things is that when a system is faulty from a state, it affects all states in Nigeria. Can't we decentralize? You spoke about it. When decentralizing, what should the federal government do while decentralizing? How should the federal government decentralize this power? Because a lot of people will need this power to do a lot of things.
The federal government have decentralized it. Unlike when Buhari was there, the law has been passed allowing independent power producers and co. But I think the area where I'm concerned is the transmission part. The transmission, I'm not sure it's decentralized already. Although we are trying to build multiple power grids, for example, what he has said in Ogun State, we have all heard about it before. We are hoping it will come to light. But like he said, it's not only generation. We have transmission before we have distribution. What he has identified from what he said are really transmission problems caused by leverage in demand and supply. But I think the transmission system is yet to be decentralized. I would like to be corrected if it is decentralized. But in many states where we have multi-grid system, the transmission system is decentralized, such that discos like you can buy not just from the national grid, you'll be able to buy from the state grid, you'll be able to buy from even a local government grid, if a local government chairman is able to attract enough investors. Because I've been following this power situation for long, especially when I was president of Abeokuta Chambers of Commerce. We went to Germany and we saw that what we have is that even a local government can plan such that the residential area we have power at night, and the industrial area we have power during the day, and they will be using the transmission to correct and balance it. Those are the kind of solutions that I think we should be looking forward to in Nigeria if we want to talk about national grid collapse, ending.
And that will actually be if the industries are concentrated in a particular place. I mean, because in Nigeria here, where we don't have the industries concentrated in a particular place, they are scattered all around. So it will be difficult to, don't you think so?
I don't think so. There is demand and supply. I live in a housing estate which for nearly 10 years we have been seeking to have 24/7 electricity, and we have been discussing with DISCO, and the problem is that they said if we are on band A, we will have relatively regular electricity.
Sure.
And our people are saying that when this kind of grid collapse happens, it does not differentiate band A from B, from C, from D. That if they are ready to pay for band A, could they have that 24/7? And when the discussion was going, it's not a question of ability to pay, because it is definitely known that band A is pricey. It covers not just the costs for the discos, it gives a good margin and also subsidizes. So if you are on band A and you are ready to pay, why should you not be able to have them keep their promise? And I think that's the discussion that have been narrated, and it has actually even divided the consumers. Because some consumers say, let us see. But in the Nigeria situation, unlike in some places where you can take government to court, we are not usually taking them to court here. If a distribution company promised me that you will give me band A, I will have 20% or 20 hours of electricity, and cannot keep it, will I be able to sue them for it?
I think the actual promise was band A, you will get more light than band B and the rest.
No,
I think they are keeping to that promise.
No, they promised a certain number of hours. It's here.
And the number of hours could be 2, could be 3, so you will get more than the rest. I don't know. Shed light on.
Thank you. Thank you, Baba. Let me start from where you started from, talking about the problem with stakeholders, supply chain, distribution, transmissions, and generators. You know, in Nigeria, the installed capacity we have, what we are getting from the installed capacity is less than the total installed capacity of our generators to the national grid. Now, we are getting within the range of 3,000 to 6,000 megawatts now, where we have more than 10,000 installed capacities of IPP and government-owned, joint-owned generators. What is causing this problem is insufficient gas to all these generators. 2, aging infrastructures. 3, as an independent power producer that have been licensed to generate, if I generate, will customer be able to pay my running costs, my operating costs, all my capex, the cost of it? Will you be able, will I be able to cover it? Some generators decided to generate low because they know that recovery of their investments may not be guaranteed. And government is trying, you know, he has said that government is subsidizing from band A, subsidizing some bands, like lower bands. The one that is not being subsidized is band A. So what is causing all these problems that some people are doubting? So some of these generators, independent power producers, that if I generate and I supply you, will I be able to get my own investments, my return on investment, aging infrastructures, and cost of fueling? Because you won't believe that as of now, people also, they pay in dollars instead of naira gas, which is more expensive for us to maintain. You also talk of aging, transmissions bottlenecks. Maybe they have their own capacity. Which government is trying to expand the transmission network. There is huge investment that is going on and projects being commissioned to expand the transmission network. So also the distributions. Every sector of this supply chain has their inherent challenges, which needed to be addressed.
But which of them do you think is the most important? Really?
Most important, and can they be sued? Because
some persons will say that
there is service level agreement amongst all these stakeholders.
Okay.
That when you generate, you must take. And if you don't generate, and we've contracted, there is contracted service level agreement that you must give me 1,000 megawatts daily. And if I fail, we'll be penalized. Are these stakeholders being penalized for failures of this? When the DISCO fail to supply the consumers, as the DISCOs that I'm working with, are we being penalized for not being able to supply this? GENCOs that's supposed to give us supply, and they've signed this agreement, are they being penalized for this? These are issues that need to be addressed by the regulators.
Okay,
now, state government is trying to come with, several state governments now is being given autonomous to do the regulations. And I believe when they start their own regulations, I think they hope and I pray that they should be able to implement all these service level agreements. There are some independent power producers that are generating across the state now. But are they giving it to masses?
No.
Who are they giving it to?
Industries.
That have capacity to pay. And for them to increase their production level, because they know that, you know, in Nigeria, the way to recoup investments from citizens is very difficult. We in DISCO, we know what we are facing.
Don't you think it's because there's not truthfulness in the process or the transparency? I was going to ask you about the blueprint. You have identified some challenges that is coming from the GENCOs, from the DISCOs, and this value chain of energy is not particular to a stakeholder. A stakeholder will do theirs, the second one will pick it up before it gets to the final consumer. The final consumer are those who will determine if you are working well or not. So if this break is in your own chain from the major stakeholders, who should we really hold responsible? How should Nigerians address this issue? Outside the world, they won't see that GENCOs are not receiving what, or DISCOs are not distributing what they have to do. They want to see that Nigeria has electricity 24/7. How do we address this failure so that outside the world won't start tagging us as a nation with epileptic energy crisis?
Thank you. You see, the last mile of electricity, which are the consumers, are also need to be blamed.
Okay.
They constitute to the power supply problems, because they don't pay for what they consume. And if the DISCO could not get money from consumers, the appropriate money from consumers, what would they use to pay the GENCOs? How would the GENCOs be able to
Can I cut you there?
Yeah, you can cut me.
Because you said they did not pay. If you provide a machine, there are...
machine is it.
Okay.
This is it. Can you see, you won't believe that government is rolling out free meters now.
Yeah.
And you see that some people are rejecting it.
Why?
Some people, because what they are consuming without meters is higher when we give them meters. Now, I can tell you that we've caught thousands of people with little times we've installed this meter for energy theft. Because, this meter is running fast. This meter is running fast. This, you understand? And let me tell you, there is a feeder that is consuming more than 10 megawatts of supply. When we now install meters to those areas and we closely monitor it, do you know that feeder's consumption has reduced to 4 megawatts? And the rest of that megawatts, we are able to divert it to areas that we are not enjoying power supply. People use more supply when there is no meter. Truly, there are some that they don't use. Maybe they have one fan, 2 televisions, 2 whatever. They consume appropriately. But you see some people, when they see cheap things, they try to make use of it. They misuse it. And everything comes with its own price. That is why I said the consumer, the DISCOs, the transmissions, the GENCOs, and the regulators. Regulators are not only NEC, we have NEMSA, we have SON, we have everything everybody have to come together to fine-tune the best way to address this national.
How regular do you review?
We review regularly and we meet regulators regularly. And sanctions for energy defaulters is not being taken serious.
Okay.
It's just of recent now, the Federal Ministry of Justice in Abuja and Federal Ministry of Finance, they've deployed some staff to discourse office to help them checkmate people that have been apprehended and to also prosecute them now. They are in my office now. Those that have been caught, they were interrogating them and they are giving them last warning or whatever. We also meet with transmission company to tell them our interface problem, where to address it, and they also take it to government. They have been partially being run by government. As Baba has said that they are still with government, but they are unbundling them gradually as a unbundle PACN to different discourse. Now, transmission company have been divided or split into 3 or 4 components now. We have ISO, we have PSP or whatever. I know they are in 3 now. Those are the things that government is trying to do for the transmission company again. I agree with you submissively on the decentralization of power supply to also reduce system collapse, which some states are also trying to do. But as present, would they be able to do it? Politics. If I'm there today and doing my investment, and the present government is not the one coming in again, the next political dispensation, is it going to support the blueprint, the existing? Those are the things we have in Nigeria. We don't have follow-up or people to continue to implement what the existing government is trying to do at the detriment of the citizens. Because I am not the one that initiated. My people are not the one that conceptualize ideas. But I just want to appeal to our leaders that whenever they come here and they see good things with maybe the outgoing government is trying to do, they should learn from it and continue to build on it. Thank you.
So let's take a look at generation. And then part of the problem we get to hear often is that, oh, there is insufficient gas supply and the rest of them. At this point, shouldn't we be diversifying? Shouldn't we be looking at other means of power generation, really? Considering the fact that as a nation we are blessed. Is it the sun? We are blessed with it. Is it the water? I mean, at some point we have floods, here and there. This water can actually be channeled, to a particular spot reserved, and then at the time, the dry season when we will need it, for power or anything, we release them.
Diversification is on the top gear in the government cycles and even with manufacturers. Yeah, you see, the manufacturers, they don't depend on the power from the grid again. Some of them are self-generating. And some of them are also generating in island mode. What I mean by in island mode, they generate in a place and try to serve the other communities in the area using gas. Some also are using crude, and some are also using steam to generate, are also using biomass. I've been to a factory in Ibadan that they are doing oil. What they were getting from the waste products of palm kernel, they were using it as a fuel to fire their turbine. To also, they recycle it, renew it, and also use it to generate electricity. And so also we have it along in Shagamu, where they are those people that are generating, they are producing oil and also rice. All these shafts from rice, they convert them to fuel. They are doing it. But at large scale, in rural area, that is what we need people to come in, to generate, to use this renewable energy to generate electricity to serve our rural community. Because we also need to look at the pollution that we can control, because we need to be generating with a fuel that is environmental friendly, so that will not affect our health. People are also generating, they are having a solar farm to generate. But how effective is this solar farm? Or have they started in a large scale? People, we have seen beautiful ideas. People have written a research. People have done some their own feasibility study, but it has not been fully implemented, except at the home base, people that are using it at the localized area, maybe in an hotel, in residential houses, they are doing self-generation. Those are the things. Diversification is good, and it also reduces pressure from the grid. I've seen people that are like where Baba lives now, Elega Mawuko side at housing estate. We are talking with one company called Boston, and they want to come and establish a generating plant along that place. We talked yesterday, and they've been coming to my office, and luckily one of them also has a property in Elega. So that means he said, what are we going to do? And we are okay. What we're going to do is that we're going to do mass metering when you come in, so that your return on investment will be rest assured. And we have gone to our head office, and they were making a frantic effort for it to happen. How is it going to happen? I cannot say, because they are bringing down their own investment to partner with us.
Now, when we begin to see independent individuals coming up with generating plants and the rest of them, is that not going to jack up the price of electricity? I mean, because people are groaning already.
Everything comes with its price. Who doesn't want to pay for electricity? That is the problem. The brain of electricity development is people doesn't want to pay for electricity, except the industries.
But
let me tell you, there are some industries.
Because the people over the years have not really gotten the value.
They want to come now, over the year, forget over the year. President, I want to come with electricity. Are you ready to pay for it? If you are ready to pay for it, you have it. Some companies, they've left discos, left transmission to their own self-generating, because they want continuous power supply. Because when there is a glitches in the system, in the power system, it stops and it spoils their production processes, causing so many millions damages to their products and to their machines. So instead of them to continue to connected to the grid, they prefer to have their own, and they won't even mind the cost. Now, why do they want that? They want continuous power supply. There's nothing that you want to achieve in this life better that will not come with a cost.
Now, some persons will say that, sorry, Charity, I mean, just to add to what you have said, some persons will say that the rot in the line, the different segments or sections of electricity, from generation to transmission and the rest of them, that even if people are paying normally as and when due, that it will take years before these private people who are in charge of it now will be able to fix that rot.
No, I don't believe it.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? So are you saying within a month, or within 2 months, or within 3 months?
There are softwares now.
Within 3 months, we'll be able to get it right if people
once
pay.
We have meters, like he said. If we have meters, and you are doing, you are paying
as at when due,
or even pay as you go. You see, there are softwares that manages that. Softwares manage it. You won't, even if you don't pay, you can't consume. Even in Republic of Benin, you don't. Then once, like he said, once people want something for free, and I think that when people have enjoyed something for free, they don't want to leave it easily. Wọ́n máa sọ Yorùbá wọ́n ní àti gba ọyàn lẹ́nu ọmọ kò ń ṣojú bọ̀rọ̀. Those on band B, they want to continue enjoying it. They don't know they are being subsidized. They want to continue enjoying that subsidy, and that is part of the problem, and that is part of the politics. If it is those who want it are to have it, and that if you cannot afford it, then don't buy it. We have had a better situation. But the political part of it, where people are subsidized, some people are subsidized, others are not subsidized, does not make us to have equal benefit for our money. But I like to say that I think with the discussion, there are possible improvements, but a lot of things depend on the political will. For a long time, we have known that industries are ready to pay. Yes, but when we are talking of micro, medium, and small-scale industry, if we say they will pay, it will have an impact on society. The hairdresser, the barbing salon, and all this, they are the ones who enjoy subsidized electricity for them to be part of the economic producers, employment generators. So they might not be able to pay, and that's why when you go to an hairdressing salon, he puts on his generator only when they are customers. If you go to an hotel,
and they charge more.
Yes, and they charge more. So if you go to an hotel and the hotel is not at full capacity, they will tell you you can't put on air conditioner because even their generator cannot power enough for that. But when they are on full capacity, they have generators, they will give everybody and it can spread. So those two situations shows us the economics of the power generation. So for us to wish we have free electricity like we have free education, or subsidized electricity like we are having subsidized education, is to look at the difference between what people pay in private universities and public universities. You know how many millions they pay in private universities. You know, at best, hundreds of thousands that are paid in public universities. So we cannot wish out the political will, and that political will is what the government supports that is needed. And any governor, we have to prioritize. People are talking about roads. People are talking about various other needs. A governor, we have to say, okay, I'll give you 24/7 electricity. Let the roads be bad for the meantime. I'm not sure if that. So that's the political decision those that are holding our political power have to make. But when people are shouting, most of the time they are shouting on social infrastructure. Unfortunately, we are not seeing this power as a social infrastructure. But as it is being run, it's still a social infrastructure, which needs a lot of political will to execute.
And a lot of subsidies.
And a lot of subsidies.
Can government do away with their control, in some sense, with this NIG in Nigeria? Can they allow private sector to run it, and Nigerians should just take that area?
Just like they cannot say everything should be private university.
They cannot completely remove their hands.
Okay.
They must serve as regulators.
Okay.
So what government is trying to do now is to serve as regulators for most of these social amenities providers. You know, they are now serving as regulators for telecommunications. They are serving for electricity industry and other social amenities. Government cannot completely, and you know, for security of the nation, you know, initial why they hold on to the transmission company is because of security of the nation, to bind us together. That, you know, there are some states that they are not generating resources to generate electricity, And there are some that are generating in Essex. And when they generate, they push it to the grid and it's to serve other areas. There are also other areas that they are not generating. There are also other benefits we are getting from them. But they now look at it, okay, there are other means, that you can also generate from your side.
Okay.
Either through sun, either use wind, and you can also pull it to, even if the grid is there, but let's harness other resources to reduce pressure from the national grid. One of the reasons why they now push the regulators to the state, if you know you can do it, come to us, we'll give you freedom to go and regulate the electricity services to your state, which some state governments have started. But they've not started implementing it fully. Some just have it as paper, and they were now constituting the board, the regulatory, they are also doing research. Before electricity is, for you to come and you want to start, you want to dissociate yourself from the national grid, you must be able to have the one that will continue to serve your state very well. And for now, the state cannot determine the price that I want my state to pay, because they are not the one that is paying the what is it called? The IPP, the Independent Power Producer. Because they need to sit down with them. That, okay, what is the cost of your investments? What is the cost of your gas? The cost of your staff? And if they even impose excessive tax on them, the cost will be passed to the end user within the state.
All right, we have a few minutes. But, Yeshola, let's talk about the future of energy in Nigeria. What do you think should be done really now, so that Nigerians can benefit from it, those who want to pay the way they want to pay? Should we stay on that lane of having band A, B, C, and some will have, some will not have? What is the future?
The future of energy in Nigeria is easily predictable by what happened to NITEL.
Okay.
When there are so many people that are competing, I think we will have the best prices. And it will, if you want 24/7, and a disco can promise you 24/7, you get from that disco, and you are expecting 24/7. If a disco said, we can't promise you 24/7, this is what we can promise. Our price can be lower, maybe because it's subsidized by government, then you take that.
You have painted a vivid picture, really, and I can't wait for that moment, that period, really, to come. Before we go, Charity, let us quickly ask Disco regional head, really, the news we are hearing, the back and forth between you and the government on free meter. Government is saying don't collect anything. And
the minister is saying no money should be paid.
You are saying no, we should collect money.
No. We never say we should collect money. Free meter is free meter.
Okay.
And the issues we have is the installers. Which are these installers, the vendors, most of them are not our staff.
Okay.
And they give them meter to go and install. I won't also move away from the fact that some of our staff are also engaging in extorting members of this. Public for extortion. I call them extortions. Anybody that collects money for such meters is to be penalized and to be prosecuted. Vendor is being paid to go and install, but I don't know how much they are paying their installer, because we are not part of the contract.
Is it available now? Yeah, the
meter is available, but we are
abundance.
No. We gradual.
Okay.
We have more populations, more customers to serve. So we are considering the band A. Okay. In Abekuta here, we have existing accounts that we will not serve.
Okay.
That they are. The accounts that have been opening that we are giving to street billers, so we are giving it to them. You will now see some people in such area again. Oh, I want to do separation. I want to come in. What of those people that have not gotten at all? So what we are doing is this. We want to close up the people on band A.
Okay.
People on band B, they will now move to band C. We've done that of band A in Abeokuta and some area now. We are now on band B.
Okay.
After that, we'll go to the next band.
So are you saying people should not pay when they want to install their meter?
They should not pay.
They should not pay.
They should not pay.
Yes.
Except they go and call someone outside the office.
Yes. You know, our people will come, the vendors that they gave it to will come and install.
Okay.
The only thing that they will be asking them, maybe where we want to install meter to, it was not at the right place, and they ask the customer, you need to go and buy cable or do whatever.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Engineer Abdulrazak Jimo is the regional head of IBEDC, and we also had Sir Jare Oyeshola, an entrepreneur and the former chairman of Abel-Sima. Thank you for coming on the program, sir. And Dominic, we need to leave.
Yes, we've got to go. We thank you so much for watching. That's the edition for today. Enjoy the rest of your day and the weekend ahead.